Script started. Dependencies loaded. Booting Series 13 of the Year of Shame Challenge. Please wait.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Year of Shame Season 13, Episode 1. Yes, 1 month down and 11 to go. Yay. I'm Brian, and with me we've got Ben. Say hello, Ben.
Hello.
And we've got Paul as well. Say hello, Paul.
Hi.
So how have you two been? How are you keeping?
It's been a fun first month. January is always a busy one. It's always a hard one. We've had well, you've been back in Japan, but over here we've had rain, we've had snow, we've had continuous darkness. It's the usual joys of living in the UK. But yeah, it's been a good month. Not too bad. Just very, very busy at work.
You keeping well, Paul?
Yeah, pretty good actually. It's been I won't call it a lazy month. I've taken pretty much the whole month off. I have been having to keep up a little bit with work because I buy and sell things. So the things I've been buying, I've been testing sporadically. But I've not been doing any selling, but mainly relaxing.
I flew back from Ireland to Japan this time. No rain on the plane, which is well done, BA. But back to work, and not an awful lot else happened here, to be honest. Have you been watching anything or watching movies or TV shows or anything?
Yeah, I've watched quite a few things actually. I went to the cinema. I went to go see 2 films. Went to go see Paddington in Peru, which was a great film actually. Very enjoyable. We went to see the first 2 at the cinema, so like the third one, we was going to watch it on or wait for it to come to TV, but we decided to go to the cinema. Yeah, really good. It's one for everybody really, adults, kids. There's humour there for everybody. Great story. I think the second one was probably my favourite one, where he goes to jail, which was totally inappropriate really for Paddington to go to jail.
What?
But it was fantastic. Yeah, Paddington goes to jail in the second one. There's a full, I don't know, it's probably a good 30, 40 minutes of him in prison. It's not like he goes there for like, just as a little jokey thing, and you get like a photograph of him in prison as songs and dance routines and all kinds of stuff while he's in prison. Fantastic film. If you've not seen it, it's quite bizarre.
Was that Paddington doing porridge?
Yeah, Yeah, that'd have been a great name for it actually. Paddington. He could put his honey on his porridge. That's for sure. And then while we was there, we thought we'd go do a double bill, which was Robbie Williams' Better Man, which you no doubt heard about and seen because he's portrayed as a chimpanzee, which is I think they've done that to kind of bring him down to like a primal level to show that underneath all the things that we've seen about him, that really is, his primal is just, well, I suppose you can't say he's human, but he's primitive really, and he's a product of his own success. And it does show a lot of downsides to stardom, and the effect it had on his family, his friends, and his whole life really. Really good, excellent film. A little bit too sweary. Unnecessarily sweary, although he is known to be a sweary character in real life, but it's to the point of distraction. It almost becomes like there was no need for that. Even me that comes from Leeds originally, where every other word can be F this or F that quite naturally, then yeah, it was totally unneeded, but great film, well worth watching. It didn't do very well in America allegedly, but I was reading that based on its budget, I think it was filmed in Canada, or they did a lot of the production or somewhere in Canada or maybe Australia, one or the other country, and they got massive tax breaks for it. So I think they got about 40 million's worth of tax breaks. So probably what it'll make in England, although it might have flopped in America, but the money it'll probably make when it comes to the TV, like $13.99, pay for it to watch it now sort of thing, will probably, I'd say it's going to break even for sure. But yeah,
I looked at it much, I have to say. I didn't. I sort of looked at it, thought, well, that's interesting, and that completely caught me off guard. I had no idea that existed. But at the same time, thought, what on earth's that all about? And you pretty much just sold it to me in the space of about 2 minutes. So fair play. I actually do want to see it now. Yeah, I like his music.
I'd heard about it. I went looking for it, and all I saw was a picture of an ape. And I thought, that's the wrong movie. So I've got the wrong movie, so I didn't bother looking any further. That explains it.
Yeah, it does. It is bizarre. I showed it to the missus, and she was like, "No, I don't want to see that. It's not my kind of film." She's very specific. She doesn't like any of the weird films I like to watch. I like to watch something that's a little bit surreal, maybe a little bit dark, a little bit of something different. But when she watched it, she came out. She thought it were amazing, totally amazing. You know, tears and all that kind of stuff.
Sounds good.
So, but yeah, she really enjoyed it. Really,
Cool.
really
Good
enjoyed it.
Right, I've got our Cineworld ticket going on the list. I'll try and convince you at the half we should go watch that.
Movies wise, I was supposed to go see Paddington in Peru with my nieces when I was back in Ireland. That didn't work out, so I went to one of my nieces wanted to watch Barbie at her place, so I sat down with her and watched Barbie. It was excellent. It was really, really funny. Humor is aimed at both adults and kids, but like different places. And I could see my niece watching it every time I started laughing at stuff. She was watching it and taking note, so she's going to be trying to figure out what we were laughing at. But it was really, really good. The actors were excellent. It really sold well. I then saw Godzilla with my nephew, Godzilla X Kong. I've not watched the Godzilla movie before, not the whole way through, and it was better than I thought it was going to be. And I watched it with him, and having him explain the whole story to me, all the lore, was the best part of the whole thing. To be honest, it was brilliant. Great to have been pushed on top of me.
Oh, cool.
But it was good.
I know it's XCOM, but is that the one where they team up at the end of it or something?
Yeah,
Apparently,
that's
is
it.
that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. A lot of it is just all special effects, so I would say there's not very much real in the background of the whole movie, but yeah, it was quite good. Like TV wise, I watched. Have you watched Arcane?
No.
I watched the first season of Arcane, and that is spectacularly good. It's based on, I think it's the League of Legends. It's an animated series, but it's really, really good.
Oh, is that the one where it's different? It's a different game or something. No, that's different, isn't it? It's a different series. What's the one that came out that was based on? Each one was kind of based off a computer game or a subject matter that was brought out. Was that, or is that something different? I'm getting totally
No,
confused.
this is different. This is just purely animated. I can't remember that. That's been out recently as well. Arcane's show that's finished. They did 2 seasons, but they're living in a world with magic, and it is really good. Really good. The characters are very good. There's whole proper arcs and stuff like that for it. That was really good. I also finished off season 1 of Dune Prophecy. It's really, really slow. I like it. It's more Dune, but it's extremely slow. It's so slow to the point that I'm worried whether they'll get a second season or not. So hopefully they will. I then finished off season 2 of Silo. If you've been watching that, I like sci-fi, by the way, and that's really good as well. I've read the books. The TV show's caught as far as I've read in the books, but they're really good. And then I watched. Have you seen Deadlock? Deadloch, I think it's Tasmanian comedy, detective murder mystery comedy. It is extremely dark. It is extremely funny. The characters in it are brilliant. It's basically murder happens on an island that's a lesbian retreat, mainly a lesbian retreat, and it is just really, really funny. And I can't wait till they come out with season 2. To be honest,
Sounds quite cool. I mean, my wife are terrible.
Sorry.
Oh, my wife. We end up not watching like anything that seems to be new. We end up going for like Amazon Prime or Netflix or something. The last thing we just finished was something called Monk. I think it was from the mid-90s, which was kind of like, yeah, they were great. It was absolutely, it's been brilliant. It's a great series. But we seem to be so behind on it. I think you guys will be holding the fort on the new television side of things. I mean, anyone I know will sort of confess to the fact that I'm terrible for this, and I'm always about 6 months behind the curve. But that's it. So I've been given a series and a film today. We're doing well so far that I can actually watch, which is vaguely up to date.
I watched a few other films as well.
Yeah.
Some good ones actually. A new one called Love Lies Bleeding with Kirsten Stewart, where she's sort of like set in like small midtown in America, really sort of poor. But she like runs the local gym for her father, and her father's like the local crime boss. He's not like a gangster type crime, but I suppose he's a gangster to some degree. But he's like a Midwest sort of, quirky sort of character. And there's a sort of running theme going through it about some dark secret about how a mother disappeared and various other things. And sort of like this woman sort of drifts through town, and she's like a bodybuilder and starts taking steroids, and it just goes wacky from there. Really, really good. I watched the Mike Leigh film, as you probably know. Mike Leigh is kind of gritty, sort of UK sort of drama. He did Kes. I don't know if you remember the film Kes, the kid with the hawk.
Yeah.
Excellent film.
Yeah.
That's well worth watching. And Demi Moore's new film, The Substance, where she's in her 50s. She's had a career of being like she has like the aerobics sort of show, but she's at 50, so the bosses want to replace her on her 50th birthday. They pretty much sack her, and so she starts taking this new thing called The Substance, which produces a second one of her. But she has to live by these particular rules, where if she doesn't sort of feed it correctly, well, then it will take more from her older self. And so she withers more.
Okay.
So she no longer looks 50, she starts to look like 65, and she can't reverse it, and then she's starting to fight against herself. Excellent film, really dark, totally wacky, extremely bizarre, and just goes off a complete tangent at the end, and well worth watching, and I can see why she's up for an Oscar.
Is she?
Fantastic.
I've heard good things about that movie.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cool.
Cool. On the other way around, I'd seen the Oscar stuff, but hadn't known what the movie was about, surprisingly enough for me. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
It is. It's really good. I watched a TV show called Man on the Inside, which is Ted Danson. He's a retired professor, recently widowed. He's at a loose end, really, in his life. Obviously, he's at a particular age. And he sees an advert in the newspaper to go undercover. So he replies to the ad, and the agency wants him to go undercover in a retirement, an old person's retirement home, because items are going missing around the place, like people's jewellery and such like. And he goes and investigates that. But it's very heartwarming because he gets to meet all the characters, and it's more of a comedy. It's certainly not a darker edge to it. But yeah, really good. And the good thing is as well, each episode's about 25 minutes long, and there's only about 6 or 8 episodes, so you can breeze through it and enjoy it, unlike many shows where they're, a good 1 hour long, and there might be 12 episodes, which can be quite a daunting task. So it was quite light and refreshing and a good comedy, well worth watching.
That's actually something I can say that I've seen. Well, not seen, seen by proxy. So on Wednesday night, I have a gaming night with some guys play Forza and stuff, or The Division. And my wife's been sat watching that and just can hear her like laughing hysterically, and everyone on the call's like, "What on earth's going on in your house?" And like, "Oh, she's watching that." And I did watch one of the episodes, and it is very good.
It is.
Ted Danson plays a fantastic part and stuff. He's great, but it is brilliant. It's all very tongue-in-cheek, stupid humour, which I can completely get behind. It's really quite cool.
Yeah, it is. It's well worth watching.
What was that called again?
Man on the Inside.
I'll take note of that. Yeah, that's cool. The only other thing I was doing back in Ireland, I was playing board games for the first time in a long time. I played this silly game called Happy Salmon, which had most of my family standing around a chair screaming at each other. Is it for a game for kids and adults? It's really, really good, I have to admit. But other than that, I haven't played any other board games. I joined a board game group here in Tokyo. I go to them once every couple of weeks, or was doing once every couple of weeks. I haven't been for a while yet. The Happy Salmon was really cool. It's a party game, really, really good. And each round only takes 10 minutes maybe. But yeah, it was good.
Oh, cool. We've had the same at Christmas. We kind of like try to make an effort to, rather than, we all like playing computer games in the house, but it ends up with my daughter on the Switch playing Splatoon, my son playing Minecraft on the Xbox, me sat playing something random on the PC, and my wife's on her Kindle. So at Christmas, it's like, right, everyone come together, and I do make an effort to sort of buy board games. My wife both do for the kids as well. So, what did I purchase? I've got King of Tokyo this Christmas, which is going to be really cool. That's kind of like almost a King of the Monsters sort of game, if you remember that, or like Godzilla, and it's a board game based on that, and you becoming the champion of these monsters. Sort of come out. We haven't played it properly yet, but that's going to be really decent. Been kind of told to get that by one of my friends. Heard of a game called 5 Minute Marvel?
No. Is it good?
Which is it's kind of like it's a card game where you play as your group, and you all have your special powers. You are one of the Marvel heroes, effectively. And you've got the enemies that keep coming up, and they're enemy cards. You have to beat them using either strength, technology, mind control, whatever it is, and you all have special powers. You set a phone to 5 minutes, and you've got to beat this big stack of enemies and get to the last boss on it inside that time period. It's really, really frantic. You're just launching cards across the room at each other, basically, and shouting. So very much similar to what you said, but it is really good. You'd say 5 minutes to play a game as well is pretty cool. The cleanup and sorting all the cards out from the mass pile that's created is about 20 minutes, but the game itself is really good fun for 5 minutes. So it's worth looking at as an accessible family game, definitely. We've really enjoyed it.
Cool. That's it. The only other thing, think of news. We've got 2 stories. You guys interested in the Switch 2?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been waiting for absolutely ages, ever since they released the Wii. I mean, I've been wondering how long it'll be before Nintendo released the number 2.
It's going to be this year, but I don't know if they've given them an actual date, have they? I couldn't see any date given.
No. That were meant to be a joke. Wii and number 2. I'll try to get it all in one thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I'm going to play the early Sunday morning card for that one. Sorry.
Somebody's already had a coffee this morning, then.
It was subtle. It was subtle.
But that Switch came out of nowhere. I love the way Nintendo did that, with kind of like, it was just here's an announcement thing, completely untitled, and it's the Switch 2 reveal. Brilliant, well played, guys. Very, very well played. So
yeah, I've never played any Nintendo, so I don't. It's not that I'll miss it or anything. I did in Ireland. I got to play Mario Kart for about half an hour against my nieces, but I have no real knowledge of Nintendo games, so I don't think it'll affect me all that much. Everybody here seems to play the Switch, so maybe it'll be something I'll look into at some stage. But
yeah, it's an amazing little console. I think it's one of those things where you get it because you want to buy first-party Nintendo titles. That's the way I've always looked at it. If you look at the games you have otherwise, so that are cross-platform, for instance, something like Mortal Kombat has about 3-day loading times and low resolution versus anything else, and it's not as good. A lot of versions, they try hard, but you're playing with so little power compared to one of the major consoles. So you look at it from that direction, and it's like, well, it's not really a great sale. You want to play something like a Mass Effect, for instance. Okay, I don't think it's even on it, but you want to play a major title like that, or Doom, for instance, runs okay on it to its defense, but it's no way as good as playing on a console or a PC. But you start the primary color Nintendo games, it's just mind-blowing what they managed to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mario games on it are just completely insane. Mario Odyssey was unbelievable, really, really was. And it's like how that little console can do that.
The Zelda games in particular. I mean, the depth, the gameplay, the controls, the everything about that game, and it really doesn't actually have much of a narrative story. You are pretty much left to wander the world and do your adventuring. But I would certainly consider, even though I cannot buy any brand new games this year, I would definitely consider buying a Switch 2, just so that I could perhaps, if it would enhance the Zelda games, so it made them from 720p into 1080p or 4K, and it run them at 60 frames per second or higher, which would be even better. Well, then, as a piece of hardware, just to pay my back catalogue games such as the Zelda games, I would find it a worthy investment.
Yeah.
I
wait the responses to that on the group.
Yeah, it's debatable. It's like upgrading. I'm not sure, because it's like upgrading your graphics card on your PC. Is that really a bad thing to do? That's how I would see it. It's like a like for like, but as long as you're not buying any more software, well, then it's not such a bad thing. But I mean, it's a bit of a crazy maneuver to buy a Switch 2 if you can't buy any of the latest games. But I would hope that it would enhance the games considerably. If it didn't really do much and it was just literally strictly backwards compatible, you can just play them games exactly as they play on the Switch 1. Well, then I would be like, nah, I'll leave that until next year. But if it can enhance them to 4K, I mean, I've played them on emulation, the Zelda games, and the way those games are made, because they're like a cell shaded type of graphic, they scale based on your hardware incredibly well. You can play Zelda at 4K already on PC without an issue via emulation, and the way that game scales and the way that game looks, outstanding. But I would rather support Nintendo potentially and buy the hardware and the games direct from them. But to be able to play it at 4K, it is possible already. So, and the benefits are clearly there.
I thought I saw them say something in a very, very small, it's all coming out in little dribs and drabs, obviously, but saying that there was going to be some performance on the backward compatibility being a benefit to it. So, a la Xbox and PlayStation kind of thing. I think they'd be daft to kind of not aim at it, to be honest with you. If you're going to make analog better, do it properly kind of thing. If you've got 2 times the power of a Switch, which realistically, considering how old that little Tegra chip is now, isn't really difficult, you should be making the most of it. I mean, there's a lot of games on there you would absolutely love to play with a better frame rate. I mean, even some of the first party stuff, if you get into a difficult area, there are drops. So if they can just smooth out their own games, even if it's like not focusing too much on the third party and it's Mario Odyssey's got an update or whatever it may be, they could just use it as little kind of snippets and selling points.
Depends how they do it. If they do it as an update, like it's just a patch, or they release Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, that's a different matter, because then I can't buy that.
Yeah.
That's a different matter. I wouldn't buy that, but I would if it could play my Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 1 version without needing to pay for an upgrade, which I would still see as cheating if I had to pay for the upgrade, or have to buy the Switch 2 version. I'd see that as a cheat for sure, because that's unfair. But fingers crossed, it'll just be a straightforward patch.
If anyone from Nintendo's listening, do not release a copy of Breath of the Wild with the DLC as a single thing, as a deluxe, please. You're not allowed.
Yeah. The only other news then was the Xbox Developer Direct, which they showed Ninja Gaiden 4. I've never played any of the Ninja Gaiden. It's been made by Platinum Games. They made Bayonetta. I liked Bayonetta.
Yeah, that should be cool. I played the original old Ninja Gaiden games, so the ones on the original Xbox, I think it was. So it would have been 2 or something. I mean, they go back way further than that to like the NES days or something, to be honest with you. But the older games were really, really good, like the Xbox 360 generations ones and stuff. For the time, the graphics and gameplay were awesome from memory.
Yeah, I think they originated back on NES as the Shadow Warrior. I think Shadow Warrior is the UK, like the Western name for it. I could be wrong. It's a Ninja Gaiden. I could be totally wrong about that one, actually.
It feels right.
But yeah, I do remember playing them on the Xbox.
There's another one called Clear Obscure Expedition 33, just in case you needed more words in the title. By Standful Interactive.
Is that turn-based or something?
Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG.
Again, seen it, I've seen kind of like the stills, but haven't seen a trailer kind of thing, so I need to...
I'm a big turn-based fan, to be honest, so I won't really miss out on that.
It kind of might be, because it's on Game Pass, I believe. It comes straight to Game Pass. I could be wrong on that one. It would be a game I would probably have given a chance. At least I've tried it. But it does look like my kind of thing, but not enough to be like, be desperate to play it. I'd wait till next year. That's no problem with that one.
The one the next 2 I'm going to miss. Doom: The Dark Ages. I'm a huge Doom fan. That's out on the 15th of May, apparently. So just total mayhem. I love Doom games. They're really good. And that's Xbox, PS5, PC, Game Pass. And yeah, that's going to be... I'll miss that one. I just finished the previous one. So it's really good.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got to finish Eternal. That's kind of my reason for not getting too upset about it, is I'm stuck at a point on Eternal where it just keeps murdering me. So I've got to do that. That's probably a year's worth of work at this point.
One thing I really struggle with in games is jumping. You know, like in Destiny, you used to have a lot of jumping puzzles, jumping around from. You have to like float onto things, and then Doom introduced jumping, didn't they, in Eternal?
Yeah,
And there's some parts of the jumping in there that just um, it's taken away from the core fun for me. I want to just go in and shoot things, and they say that's what they've done with the new Doom. They've made it, but they've gone not back to basics, but back to. I hope there's less jumping in it. Let's put it that way.
yeah. It was a bit like I don't know if you played a split gate. You were trying to jump, trying to catch onto stuff, and while you're flying, shooting enemies the whole time. I found I found that part of the game to be really difficult. I was just going back over and over the sections again and again just to try and get through the jumping. I found that really awkward. But the shooting, the actual fighting, it was brilliant. I loved that.
Yeah, I love Doom Eternal. There's a part that I'm stuck on it right now. I haven't gone back to it, and I really should go back to it. And it's just I don't know. I can get to this certain jumping point. I can almost nearly do it and always fail. Because you get to a point where you failed it so many times that it becomes, you just, I don't know, it's ingrained in your brain that it's not going to happen. You get to that same point and you make exactly the same mistake every time. It's infuriatingly,
Yeah, that's true.
crazy.
We might mention that later on. That may come up later on in games we've played.
Absolutely.
I'll have to make a video with Doom, the bit I'm stuck at, just so I can put it up, and someone will just go, "Oh, you just do that," and then my 6 months of heartache will be over in like 5 minutes. It'll be fine. But I'm kind of stuck at a point where you go in and this little like hologram appears and just says something nice about the Slayer has returned, and you're like, "Aha, great!" and run outside, and then everything in the entire game just appears in a closed arena, and you just get murdered. Like you take about 90% of it out, and then this big thing just appears and just mutilates you. But I think I've done it like 20 odd times in a go, as you said, Paul, just the frustration of doing it again and again. And it's just like, there's got to be a way through this, but I just can't get there. But the thing is, I love that game so much and it looks so damn good that I just want to keep
it. That's the problem. They've Red Dead Redemption does it correctly. Red Dead Redemption 2, because you fail a section on that around about 5 or 6 times and it says to you, would you just like to proceed to the next point? Yeah. Perfectly fine. Yeah, let's just move on to the next bit, because the amount of game that's left to enjoy that is blocked due to frustration, it's such a shame, really. There'll be so many excellent levels after that you will probably breeze through. Yeah, and it's just that one little bit there that's totally holding you back.
I had that last year there's an indie game called Plucky Squire, which isn't all that difficult, but I am beat deaf. I can't pick out the beat in music, and there was a musical section in it, so no matter how many times I did it over and over again, I could not beat this. I could not get through the section. It was driving me fucking nuts. I swear. I was so angry with the PlayStation, but the game eventually popped up an option saying, "Do you want to skip and go on?" Now I would love to play. What's that game? There's a game that looks like Doom. That's heavy metal music played through it, and as you progress, if you shoot as you're playing, if you pull the triggers on the beat and you reload on the beat, the music starts going from guitar up, and you eventually get as far as vocals and stuff in the game, in the music. But I can't progress. I can't progress in it because I'm just totally beat deaf. So I don't know. There should be an option for him.
Yeah, a lot of games have accessibility. Accessibility options are quite popular these days in games. I've turned off.
I need a wider window.
Yeah, absolutely. Ghost of Tsushima, you can turn off certain parts in that so you can breeze through some of the puzzly elements that are just, if you just ain't got it in you to do it, it just totally spoiled the game for most people.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. Mentioning being frustrated, games we've played. How are you getting on with your games, Paul? How do you?
I started with Tales of Arise, which is a game I went back to. I'd only played about 10 hours of it and really enjoyed it. And it's been sat on my pile of shame for, I think, since 2021 now. And I went back and I put another 10 hours into that game and massively enjoyed it. But typically I've put it back down again and sort of gone on to play other games, which is quite typical, really. You start a game and you've gone back to another game. I even had to go on some of my older games because I reset up my Switch. Because what I generally do is I'll have like a Switch with the OLED screen during the summer, but I'll sell that as I get towards the winter time because I'm not going to play it handheld. And I'll go back to like a cheapy version. I'll buy like an LCD screen, which is just going to sit underneath the TV because there's no hardware performance increase between the LCD and the OLED version other than the big screen. So if I'm sat out in the garden, I want the OLED screen because I want the colour and the vibrancy, and it doesn't bleed out with the sunlight. So I set that up and I went back and played a couple of games on Switch, and one of them was Bastion, which I've never finished, which is a game from many years ago, which is like an isometric type shooter. And that's good. And I played some Little Nightmares 2, which I got probably 2 or 3 hours into, but we're going to all play that one together, I believe, at some point. So I stopped playing that one. But probably one of the best games I played was a game called Unfolded, because Ben had mentioned playing it, so it piqued my interest. So I went back to play it. And it's a game from 2016. The first sort of 20 minutes are like on rails. But once you get past that like on rails part, that game opens up, not quite Mario open world, but it does open up and you can explore.
The game unfolds.
Yeah, the game unfolds and it gets better and better and better and better and better. And it's the good thing with that as well is that it's probably allegedly of around about 9 to 10 hours long. I've probably done about 6 hours. I will check my progression to see how I'm doing. And on, say, like YouTube, I'll watch like a gameplay through and I'll skip it to where I am. And if they've taken 5 hours, I've usually taken 7 hours or longer. And so I'm about halfway through and fantastic. Absolutely amazing game. Well worth playing. Great little platformer. Loads of cool mechanics in there. I've had a blast with it. And that's been sat on my pile of shame. And it was part of a PSN giveaway probably back in 2017, 2018. That's how long I've had it.
Same boat. It's been sat there for years upon years, and it's one of those games. I had the Vita version of it when it first came out because the original game was on that, and that was cool. That was a really, really great little game. And it's like, oh, they brought one out with like controller features and all this sort of stuff, and I just never got to it. But it's great. It is really cool. I agree. It's got some great twists and turns in it as well for a little kind of what would be classified as like childlike game. But it's been really good fun. I don't think I'm as far as you in, but done quite a lot. I think I'm about 4.5 hours or something.
Yeah, it totally passed me by in the respect of it. It's actually made by, I believe it's made by 2 teams, is Unfolded, but it's actually Little Big Planet team is one of the teams that made the game.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really good.
Good pedigree. Have you played any other games?
I have. What have I been doing? I actually made a list here. This month, I've actually done pretty well. Surprised myself, kind of thing, really. But I've actually completed 6. They're not big games by any standards at all. It's kind of I've just sort of been hammering them out in short periods and stuff, and sitting up far too late as nights, as Brian will contest to. I'm talking to him about 1 a.m. our time, and it's like he's getting up for work. So yeah, that's obviously a really sensible plan. But I've got Tekken 8 for Christmas, as I said in episode 0. I've smashed through the storyline on that. Granted, it's a fighting game, but it's really decent as far as a storyline goes. Like 4 or 5 hours, not really that much, but you consider that's not much shorter than a Call of Duty single player game, to be honest with you. But that was good. It was really good fun. I've finished a game called Figment, which is kind of, I think it's to do with mental health sort of game where you're inside this guy's head and he's in a coma and you have to bring him back from that, which was really, really good. Quite a heartfelt little game, to be honest with you. Astrobot, even though it's the Playroom one that comes with the PS5, I got utterly addicted to that and ended up platinum it. And so that's completely done. All the bits and pieces that come with it. I cannot wait to play the full Astrobot game. If it's half as good as that, wow, it's going to be exceptional. I finished a game, Greece, however you pronounce it, the one effectively Mother Nature is how I can sort of take it from. But wow, what a great little game. Again, 3 or so hours, 4 hours long, but I'm not going to lie, I cried my eyes out at the end of it. It's such a fantastic finish at the end of the game. You really feel that you've earned it at the end of those 3-4 hours. I know you guys, have you played that as well? Remember you saying?
Yeah, I've played it. I thought it was amazing game. One of the best games I played last year. The whole color palette is brilliant. The game is just the emotional thing was really good. The music, I loved it.
So I think it's like 3 people made it or something. Looking it up, the little studio that built it is 2X. Well, they don't go into it, but it sounds very, very much like a certain studio that starts with Ubi. They used to work for them. And then one of their guys who is an artist who always wanted to make his games he always wanted to make his art, into games. So they literally just sat down and went, when you do all the artwork, we'll animate it and build a game. And they just made that. And that seems exceptional from such a small little team. It really does. So that was number 5. And then the last one is my wife and I finally finished not the new Dark Alliance, the Baldur's Gate game, but the one that was on the original Xbox years ago, the little isometric dungeon crawler. We finished that between us, and that was on New Year's Day. We finished that, so we were playing it over New Year's Eve and completed it just into the new year. So it's been a busy gaming month amongst trying to get through all the work I'm trying to do actually for my real life. So it's been good.
For me, I played a game called Hard Space Shipbreaker. I played it for about 3 hours. I binned it. I just could not get used to the controls. I don't know. Trying to moving in space. I could not get the controls right. So I got so frustrated I binned the game, just deleted. I played XO1, that's EXO1, and it's a science fiction game. You're like a ball that's rolling up and down hills. You can control gravity, so as you're going down the hill, if you increase gravity, the ball will start to fly faster start to roll faster down the hill. And if it hits a lip, it'll spring up into the air, and then you can press another button, and the ball flattens out into a disc, so it'll glide in the air. If you watch videos online, it looks amazing the way that the control that you can get. Having problems with controls may be a theme for me. Not get it to move as smoothly as they were doing it. There's, I think, 12 levels. 2 or 3 of them, they ran so smooth, it was perfect. The gameplay was lovely. The others I found slightly frustrating. The one neat thing I thought about the game, it has an in-game game clock telling you exactly how long you've played the game. According to PlayStation, I played the game for 12 hours, but according to the game, I played 4 hours. The rest of it was just on pause, and I was going to bed or whatever. But the game is good. Music is really good, but I found the controls, or my ability with the controls, not to be good. I played another game called Raji, Raji, R-A-J-I. I don't know, an ancient epic. I've written this down. It's an action adventure video game developed by Nodding Head Games. It's based in India or Indian mythology, so all Hindu, sort of like a hack and slash type thing. But it works. The story is really good. There's a load of details and history about the Hindu religion, if that's your interest. But I have no idea of the culture, so it was just interesting to read the role as you're going along. 1 or 2 levels are quite difficult. I was searching online and people were giving out grief about this, but I thought it was a really good game. I liked it at the end. I think I spent about 12 hours in that game. And then, speaking about being frustrated, I'm playing Returnal. I'm still playing Returnal. In Returnal, you've got 6 biomes, so 6 levels. I started the 3rd biome on November 11th. We're in February now. Oh no, we're in end of January. And I beat 3rd level 2 days ago. So I was able to beat the 3rd level, moved past the 4th, and now on the 5th level. So I've only got the 5th and the 6th level left. But I only got to beat the 3rd level because Dwayne from the logbooks gave me some advice to build up the character more, and that helped me get through it. The game is so good. The controls are so tight. And when you fail, it's just because you did something wrong, not the game messing you around. But it is really, really good. I hardly recommend that game to anybody. It is frustrating, but you keep going. It's pulling me back out. Whenever I've got spare minutes, I'll boot it up, and I do more and more. It's really, really good. The only problem is if a run can take maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then try to sit down for me to get time to split 3 hours, replay one run, so you can get in the flow the whole way through. It's quite difficult, but it is really such an amazing game. And that's basically all the games I played. I did a little bit on Journey.
No, I still haven't got to it.
I did that for about an hour. I got bored with Journey. I have to go back and I'm going to start it again. I started 2 years ago, 3 years, no, 2020. During the middle of COVID, I started. I thought, nice calming game. I couldn't handle it. I was so bored.
That was the PlayStation 3/4 one, wasn't it? With a guy with a cone hat. Is that Journey?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and you go flying through a desert or something.
Because I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to play that because I know I've got it in my catalog, but it only lets you play it on the 5 if you've got it through PS Plus, which is really annoying. So I need to go and set the PlayStation 3 up to go and play it. I know one of the games we said about playing sort of maybe as a group originally, I was like, oh, I swear I had it, but I haven't. So I didn't put it on my list, I don't think. But then I sort of realised that they only let you do it digitally through the PlayStation Plus Premium. So that's kind of annoying.
No, so I have to go back. I'm going to finish. I'm going to restart it so that start going into the game 4 years later. I have no idea the controls. So I'm going to restart it. It's only supposed to be 3 hours long. So I'll try and get that done next month. Hopefully. All going well. That's the games we've played. There was a question from Facebook, I believe.
Yeah, it's quite a decent one, actually. I think it was Kev Horsley. Just a minute to make sure I'm
Thank you, mate.
saying it correctly, as he put it, doing justice. Right. Kevin has said, what is your favourite game of all time? And I want just one answer each. No second places or runners up or single best game apart from just the one in your opinion. It's not easy.
That's bastard.
Yeah, thanks, Kev.
One would only get, oh, Jesus. For me, Mirror's Edge, the original one.
Really? Wow, okay.
I love the freedom of movement. I love the music. I love the atmosphere, the graphics, the stark whites and the bright colors in the city. That game really got to me. I love that game. It was probably my favorite game.
That's really for it being Year of Shame as well. I bought that release day, excited about it, and I've never played it.
Yeah,
I've literally just forgot it.
There's one section where there's nails, but
I think I've still got this book. There's a steel book in my loft.
Yeah.
I think it's got the disc and everything in there. I installed it on EA and then never touched it.
Yeah.
How weird, right? It's one for later in the year. Is it a long game? That's the question.
I don't know. It took me a while because I'm not that good at games, apparently. That's I would like to give a runner-up, but I'm not allowed to. But yeah, but okay. Now go on. Who's next?
That's a really interesting one, though. Fair play. It's really interesting. I never thought that would come up, but that's cool. Yeah, definitely got to revisit that. Right, I'll go. I'll probably regret this one later on, but I just can't think of a game that's kind of changed the way that I gamed and changed the kind of landscape for the genre, I suppose, really, as the original Gran Turismo on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, wow.
I was excited about that for years upon years when that was coming out, when it was announced. It took its time. I can remember going and picking it up with my brother because he's 10 years older than I am. So he drove us into Swindon. I remember sitting there and grabbing it just before like Electronics Boutique, whatever it was at the time, shut as a pre-order, and then going to Burger King and then just sat looking at it all the way home. It's like, we've got Gran Turismo, but oh my God, what a game. It was so much breadth, I think, as a title. If you look back at racing games at the time, nothing just came close at all. Just the customization, the real life cars, the sheer weight of cars and tracks for a racing game. I mean, if you consider it's PlayStation 1 generation, just what they achieved from it. Weirdly, after Kev's question, I sat with my son and we watched all like kind of stuff about Gran Turismo going forward, because I was playing 7 that day as well on the PS5, and it's like, this is where it all started, and it's like, that looks terrible. I'm like, yeah, but just think, it's 1995 and the cars had like moving suspension and kind of differing sort of weights on the cars and upgrades and all these kind of things. It was nuts. I love that game. I'll chat about it forever. Sorry, I'll shut up. But it was like my product. It's probably like it's a game changer for me, definitely.
Yeah, I think a game for me, although I don't play it and I haven't played it for a long time, but a game at the time, which has a special place in my heart, I think, is a game on the ZX Spectrum called School Days, which is set in a school environment, and you pretty much pick a character. You can name it, which was quite a big thing back in probably 1984 when it was first released. And the graphics and the gameplay and the way sort of like the game characters seem to have an artificial intelligence to them. It's just amazing, really. Absolutely stunning little game. Obviously, there's games I've probably enjoyed equally, and I've got much better graphics and I've got much more depth to it. But back then, I was probably 13, and school days really ignited everything you kind of wanted out of a computer game at the time. You know, depth. It's a simulator, and obviously being at school as well at the same time, it really sort of added to that. You could go around, you could throw things at the teacher, you can catapult the teachers, you can go around causing absolute mayhem in general. It was an absolute blast, a real blast. And this is on a little humble 48K Spectrum. So yeah, School Days by Microprose. Yeah, not Microprose. Yeah, it might be Microprose. But yeah, School Days for sure. Microsphere, I think it's actually called, the company. Could be wrong on that.
Days with a Z, right at the end of it. It's School Days.
Yeah, School Days. Yeah. Fantastic.
That was great. I remember it. I remember my dad having it for the Spectrum. I can't remember playing it, I have to admit. But again, it is one of those things when you go and go onto like forums, whether it is for retro stuff, people bring that game up all the time. It's one of those 48K classics, I think, as you say.
Absolutely.
Quite a breadth. Well done, guys. That's good.
You got any plans for what you want to tackle next month, games-wise?
I've already spoken about this. I've got completely and utterly addicted to Arcade Paradise. Somehow a laundry simulator has taken over my life. I absolutely love it. Can't stop playing it. It's amazing. You both know what Arcade Paradise is? Or
Kind of.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
The general premise. So effectively, your dad gives you a laundrette of all things because you're a dropout, and it's a first-person game where you start by running this rundown laundrette your dad doesn't want anymore and says basically this is your problem now. And you have to put washing in, people bring in washing, you have to clean the place up, pick up the bins, pick up chewing gum off stuff. And it's all done in like really tongue-in-cheek, silly mini-game type ways. So you try and put a piece of chewing gum or something, you get like an energy bar that goes up and down and it plays like Street Fighter style music in the background and you're fighting against the chewing gum. You put the bins out and you throw it in like a game of darts and it goes like, oh, awesome, when you get it right and you get like 30 quid for doing it and stuff like that. And the whole premise is you start making enough money with this laundrette that you then buy some arcade machines and put them in basically what is a cupboard out the back. And they're all like 80s, 90s style arcade machines. And you have people coming and playing them when they're doing their washing. And the whole premise of the game is eventually you reduce the size of the laundrette and build this huge arcade empire out the back. And it's just so much fun. You can play all the games that you buy and set scores on them. And you get people emailing in saying, I come in, I love your arcade, but my score's better than yours. And you're like, oh, I've got to beat that now. So it's like this stupid little climbing a tree game with a wood chopping girl. And I've been playing against some bloke keeps emailing in for the last 3 days to beat his high score. It's just nuts. It's all over the place, but I absolutely love it. And you just go around taking the money out the hoppers, spend the money on arcade machines, upgrade it, make the size of the place bigger. It's just awesome. I love it. And it's so easy to play. And it's like 20-minute, half an hour a day, and you just play it day by day. It's really cool. I think it's on Game Pass, because I think I've already ruined Kev's life from last year, and he started playing it as well.
They released the VR version. Can you see it working in VR? I've not played the game. Would it work in VR?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Because it is first person and you're going around picking up baskets of washing and putting in machines and loading tumble dryers and all sorts of weird stuff. That sounds like the most crap game in the universe, doesn't it, from that explanation? But it's not. I don't know why it's good, but it's amazing. It's just so much fun. And you can play all the games, I assume, then like stood in front of it like you would be an arcade machine in the VR version.
Quite cool.
I'm not sure. Did they give it away on Epic as well at some point? Is it an Epic giveaway at some point?
Yes, I think it was on there as well. Yeah,
I might install it on the Steam Deck for sure.
Yeah, it's worth it. It runs brilliantly on that. It's not a problem at all. So the control system works nicely and it runs just as good as my PC does. Absolutely no problem. If anyone who isn't doing the Year of Shame and isn't a fool like us, it's currently £6.50 on the PlayStation Network as well. If you do want to go and get it, if you enjoy laundry that much, then you can go and get yourself involved as well.
Don't be tempting me.
I accidentally completed PC Sim this month. Just the fact I sat downstairs waiting for Steam to do updates and thought, oh, I'll just go on this for 10 minutes. I then fell asleep at the computer desk and woke up, and I'd left a computer running 3D Mark to do a sale for someone on there. And thought, I'll just put that through. Realised I had enough money to basically do the end game, which is getting the last percentage of the business. So I just clicked on that, and then the credits ran, and it was like, oh, I've completed PC Build Sim. Cool, okay. So that was fun. So now I've installed the second one on Epic I got last year. Again, I haven't touched. So that's next month as well.
I don't know, for me, basically Journey, more Returnal. Hopefully I'll finish it, but probably be another 2 or 3 months before I finish it. And let's look at Coffee Talk or Endling. Thank you. More than I have about me. I'll try Coffee Talk. Is the Coffee Talk 2 is coming out, I think. I'd like to get Coffee Talk done, and I think it's Endling. I don't know if it's any good, but that came out last year or the year before. So I'm not even sure what it's about. I have it on my list, so I'm going to try those.
I just had a look. We talked a visual novel thing. Cool. Okay.
Okay. I'll either fall asleep, probably, but hopefully it's good.
I think I'll probably play a bit more of Unfolded. I'd like to get that one finished. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to play after that. I keep fancying going back to Alan Wake and finishing Alan Wake 2, I should say. I've still got Alan Wake 1 to finish, but Alan Wake 2 I would like to finish. That's a wacky game. I'm not sure if any of you have played it, but there's like a dance scene halfway through, like part of like a TV show. You go through and there's the music playing and you're dancing and all kinds of things. The game's wacky, but amazing.
Is that Remedy Games who made the Max Payne games originally, wasn't it? Did they make that?
I believe so. Whoever made Alan Wake 1, which I think is Remedy Games, they did part 2. Allegedly, it was a commercial flop, really, in comparison to how much they spent on it. But Epic are worth so many billions, it really doesn't matter to them. It's like it could just be like a piece of art on the wall. They're not really bothered how much money they spent. It's probably a huge tax write-off and fine by them.
Yeah, I heard they just recently broke even on the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a sad state of affairs when they spend so much money making a game.
Yeah, but they made a bit of a wacky choice, really. When they released it, they didn't release it on physical. There wasn't originally. It was 1 year later when they released it on Xbox and PlayStation physically. It was all digital. I managed to buy it via some key site on Xbox. You could buy it. It was a key site on Xbox, and it was something like about £18 at the time, which was mega cheap in comparison to paying probably £60 for it. Yeah, really good, excellent game.
One of those games, I've owned the first one, but I never got around to it. It was kind of like, it looked great. I think I probably just scared myself away from it. I was like, oh, this is great. It's getting great reviews. And then I watched some like gameplay trailers of it and saw it was a psychological thriller. And it's like, nope. Right, let's go and play Gran Turismo instead. That's less scary.
The last thing I've got is games coming up next month. Anything that you would be interested in? Do you know of?
Well, I think we all agree when we spoke earlier on before we did this. I think we've been lucky this month where there's been some all right games coming out this month, or things that have been put back. So it's been a little bit of an easier month. I know Spider-Man was a biggie for January, but I haven't finished the first one, so I kind of managed to gracefully avoid that even existed, apart from some guy at work talking about it.
There's nothing last month that I was interested in.
No, last month was a get out of jail card free, especially if like you say, probably other than Spider-Man 2 for PC, which is obviously going to be fantastic for PC owners, because it'll be one of the sort of games you can use for benchmarking your graphics card and seeing all the funky, nice features, or even seeing how slow your graphics card is, and perhaps upgrading to, a 5090 or something sensible like that, really. Only be a couple of £1,000. It shouldn't be a problem for most people.
I can't remember if it's the end of this month or it's the start of next, but game called Tokyo Extreme Racer, of all things. If you remember, it was a Dreamcast / PlayStation kind of like midnight racing game. It was just an arcade sort of, you race people on the motorway around Japan and Tokyo. but it was amazing on the old games. And Genki Studios just come out of nowhere and just made a new one. It looks fantastic. It looks really cool. I think it's just this second come out like this weekend, I think, on early access. And it's like a budget game, like £25 or something. That's kind of the one I was really gutted about seeing that it come out this year, because I thought it was mentioned, but I thought it was meant to be 26. It's just appeared out of nowhere, swines. So that's next month. I think the full game is out as well.
Yeah, there's some good ones next month. There's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which should be a good game. I mean, I must admit, I played the first one, and it is on. You can play the first one on your Epic because it was given away free. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 looks really good. But I found the first one a little bit overly simulator in the respect of that it was quite difficult. You really had to be very good at lock picking and very good at sword fighting. There wasn't much button bashing or just figuring out how to open them locks very quickly. You had to really, go at it, really. So, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 could be a big, big game for a lot of people. And there's Avowed as well, which is meant to be another big RPG that's coming out.
I think that's the biggie that we're looking at next month. That looks exceptional. I know there's a lot of people I know who want to be starting playing that, and it keeps showing its face on Game Pass whenever you log in. So you like cover one eye sort of thing a little bit. But it does look good. It looks very, very good.
IGN reviewed. They got to see it back in November. And at that point, they were saying the game was fantastic. So you've had two more months polishing. I think that would be a cool game to play now, to be honest.
It would be great to have a game like that come out and it's actually decent on release. I've got everything crossed. We've had so many kind of hiccupy and trip starts on those sort of games over the last year that it'd be great if it just comes out and it's good. That'd be great.
So if anybody's listening, remember, you don't buy games straight away. You wait 10 months before you buy them, okay? So they can fix them and we can buy them as well at the same
exactly.
time.
No, that's exactly the way I'm looking at it with Assetto Corsa. That came out last month, got slated, has no content, even though it's an early access game. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, that I think give that till the end of the year. That's going to be awesome as well. But yeah, that's one of those kind of blessings in disguise from last month. What else we got next?
So I was going to say one of the big games I was looking forward to, or would have been looking forward to, was the Assassin's Creed Shadows, but that's been pushed back to March. So, which I think a lot of people, well, Ubisoft games unfortunately get instant hate, regardlessly of how good or bad they are, which is unfortunate because I really like Ubisoft games. I like the Far Cry games, I like the Assassin's Creed games, but I don't think there's been any bad ones of any of them. But obviously they are cut and paste, very similar. So hopefully they will, add some extra elements into this one. But there's also the Like a Dragon pirate Yakuza in Hawaii that's coming out, which would have been a game I would have liked to play. But there again, the first Yakuza, Yakuza Like a Dragon, I'm only halfway through that, and I've got the second one that they released wrapped up in my game drawer. So that'd just be another one on the pile of shame, really. And they're probably 60 hours a game.
Yeah, it looks really good. The two different timelines, it looks really good.
Yeah, they're meant to be pretty big.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing that game, to be honest. The only other ones like Monster Hunter Wilds, if you're big into Monster Hunter.
Yeah. That's big in Japan, allegedly.
Yeah.
Is that big in Japan?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the kids are playing that. They have that written all over their books and stuff and their bags. But it seems to be really popular over here. I've never played any of them. I don't know if I could have. That came out free.
Yeah.
Another game I've got sat in my Steam library. It's sat in my library with all the DLC with it. Never installed it.
I played it when it came to PlayStation 4 originally, and kind of got into it because a lot of people were kind of saying it had a bit of a Destiny vibe to it in the respect of, building up your character and adventuring and taking big baddies down, etc. But I just, I couldn't. There were a particular thing I was meant to be hunting down, and no matter what I did, I could not find it. I followed all the arrows. I did absolutely everything. I just couldn't find it. I don't know why. So I give up probably after about 4 or 5 hours.
Seems fair enough to me. What's he got on there? Oh, Civilization 7.
Oh yeah, that'll be a big one.
That could be people's one big one for the month, like the year. To be honest with you, being so how big Civilization is, that'll be quite a monster. But again, I love Civilization games. I wish I'd get into them. I just can't do it. It's just the long haul grind is just too much for me. But it'll be exceptional, I'm sure.
I've never played any. I've looked at them, but I think, as you say, the grind, too much in it for me. I haven't got the patience.
Yeah, I'm not a massive strategy gaming fan, but it does look good. Whether I'd give it a try if it came at something like Game Pass, but I wouldn't necessarily buy it.
It would just be another thing to dust on all the other civilizations I already have stacked up, which I thought I should really try. So we probably shouldn't go there.
Did any of you play Among Us?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. PlayStation have a new game coming out, something similar. It's called Midnight Murder Club.
Okay.
But you go into a mansion, 6 people go into a mansion, you've got a torch and a handgun, and the mansion's dark, so all you can see is where the torch is shining. You've got to try and there's somebody killing you, so you've got to try and catch or kill the murderer. But it's supposed to be, it looks like it's going to be quite frenetic and a bit like Across Between Among Us and maybe, what was that, the horror game on Steam that was out for a while. That's used a lot of proximity chat. I can't remember. It was a Ghost Hunter game that I had on Steam.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember what it's called now. Yeah.
Phantasma.
Is it Yeah, Phantasm or something. Yeah, a friend plays. He sent me videos of like 20 seconds and they terrified me. It is meant to be a very good game though. I'm looking at it now and it looks quite cool. Graphics are decent. There's some evil clown running at someone with a gun, so that looks, yeah.
For some reason, that jogged my memory about a TV show. I guess you guys might have watched it as well. Have you watched this year's Traitors?
No.
Work loves it, but I haven't. Apparently, it's very good again.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely excellent again.
And their wording was, "Have you played Among Us?" Yeah, it's like a TV show for that. Oh, okay. That was their quick explanation of it.
No, I've not watched it yet.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's well worth watching. Definitely. It's one of them sorts of shows I would generally sort of binge watch. I think we were about 3 or 4 episodes behind when we started watching it, so we binged them. But they've been quite good, actually, because there is like a couple of episodes each week. It's finished now, but well worth watching. So you can binge it if you want to binge it.
Cool. I think that's it, is it? Have we hit everything? I think that's all we've done, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So, time to say goodbye.
Can I give a mention out to a couple of podcasts that have given us a bit of a shout as well?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, good job. Go for it.
There's a fantastic podcast, if you've not heard of these two. There's one called The Seal Podcast, which is by Fraser, Dave and Neil. They're the hosts. They do a weekly show, and they do it live on Twitch on a Friday night. Well worth watching. Great guys. Definitely gaming veterans for sure. And another podcast is one called Last Save Loaded, which is Justin and Colum. Those guys have done the Year of Shame Challenge in the past, and they've got they do a show every 2 weeks. 1 week they discuss sort of movies and TV shows, and the week afterwards, the second week afterwards, they discuss games and such like. Good guys, well worth listening to too.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I know the Seal podcast. I've listened to Fraser. He's in Canada, isn't he? Right.
He is. He used to be on another show as well. Was it Game Punchers or something along them lines? But, he left that, and that's when he started up the Seal podcast. Always a great listen. Definitely a good show.
Awesome.
Housekeeping, is that what they call it? We sound very professional. Get housekeeping. Apparently there's an email, yearofshame@gmail.com, and I'm reaching for it. There's a Twitter account called @yearofshame. It isn't really active, but if you want to message people on there, we're also on Facebook. Rate and subscribe, hit that bell. I can't remember whatever people say.
Professional.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. See you next month. Month 2.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Much appreciated.
Take care, everyone. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next month.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.